everybody, and welcome to the September edition of CalCo Community Chats. I'm your host, Jamie Jo, with the Calhoun County Community Foundation, and as always, I'm so excited to be here tonight because we have a full house. We have named this Civic September, and we have all of our community leaders with the local civic groups that are going to be joining us tonight, as well as our Calhoun County property appraiser, because she's got some important announcements that she needs to let you all know about. So we are going to jump right in with a few foundation announcements before we bring everyone on. So first, we have completed our Chipola River Wayside Park project. We're so proud to be able to wrap that project up. So please stop by out there on Highway 20 and visit the park. We got some new bathrooms. You can see a video about that on our Facebook page at Calhoun County CF. So that project's taken us about a year to do, but we are super excited to have that wrapped up, and we hope you all will enjoy that. We're going to be moving on to another park soon, so stay tuned for those announcements. Also, I need to announce for this weekend, and we may talk about this a little bit more once we get in with the civic groups too, in the chamber, but there is going to be a ribbon cutting at Pine Holler, the pumpkin patch out on in Clarksville this weekend. So that's going to be Saturday at 12 o'clock noon, but the gates open that morning, I believe, at 10 a.m. So if you have not heard about Pine Holler, it is a new business in Calhoun County. It is going to be a pumpkin patch and like a kids fun farm. They have some goats and pumpkins and all the fun fall things out there, and they're going to be open through December, I believe, with the pumpkin patch. So we'll learn a little bit more about them next month in our All Things Fall edition, but I wanted to announce that since their grand opening is this Saturday. You can get tickets online, and yeah. Don't miss that. That's going to be a really fun event. So you can find them on Facebook for now at Pine Holler, Florida Farm. And let's see here. Also, Goat Day is coming up. Miss Sharon could not be here tonight for Rodeo, but she asked me to announce. Please don't forget that Goat Day is coming up. 2 seconds here. I need to make some notes. 1 second. We go. If any of my team is watching, check Slack. Let's see. And Dinner in the Dark is coming up this weekend as well. We're going to touch base on that a little bit more, but the Lions Club has Dinner in the Dark coming up this weekend also. So you can find that out on their Facebook page. And I think that's about it for the Community Foundation. So we're going to jump right in to Miss Carla Peacock. Let me add her here. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Jamie?
Good. So tell us what you got for us. You got some important announcements you need to make.
Yeah, we're going to give you some hopefully helpful information tonight and clear up a little bit of misinformation. So I'll start with the misinformation. If you want to roll up that PowerPoint or that slide.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Okay. So there's a lot of misinformation about how we assess your property. It is not a percentage of the sale price. We actually had a couple come in last year, and they were told that we were assessing them at 90% and their neighbor at 60%, and we were not doing it fairly. And that is absolutely misinformation. We don't assess at any kind of percentage. By what you paid. By law, we determine fair market value as of January 1 each year. We use a mass appraisal process. We analyze all the qualified sales, and a qualified sale would be one that's an arm's length transaction where there's no undue influence on the buyer or the seller to buy or sell. Your property is part of a larger picture. Mass appraisals is like groups of property. So when there's a private appraiser that goes out, he's going to pick, several comps to compare to the subject property. And people get so confused about that. We have to take all of the sales into consideration. So, those people that paid higher prices, it's not going to, equal out to everybody's going to get the same value. Right. And Clay might be able to explain a little more because he actually does the tax roll about the base rate. So it starts out with a base rate, which is a price per square foot. And then there are things that add on. So you might want to go into that a
Yeah,
little
so
bit.
we look at the sales, and we have a tool that is called the sales ratio analysis. And what it does is it bundles in all of the sales data and it breaks it down by different types. So you have mobile homes, single family, commercial, vacant, agriculture. And basically what it does is the system looks at all the sales and it takes all the components based off of, whether it be square footage or what's heated and cooled or how much acreage or whatever. And it comes up with what is the average price that it recommends, that the system says that we should be at. So it's a very useful tool. That is something that we submit to Department of Revenue every April 1st. We have to have that turned into them by then. So yeah, it's a very useful tool for that. So.
And there are uniform standards. So every county in Florida follows the same laws, and the Department of Revenue audits us every other year for fairness and consistency. And then there's a lot of, if you have that graphic about the two houses where,
Yes.
yeah, that's a good one, because you cannot compare your property on our website to your neighbor's property or anybody else's property and think that you can see that we're being, inconsistent, because there are too many variables. And this is a great example. These two homes are identical. They're purchased the same year, but you can see that it's based on the owner's qualifications, whatever exemptions they have, the time that they bought it, if they have any capping, all those things play a factor. And as you can see, it makes a huge difference. So no two properties, even if the houses are identical, built the same year, are ever going to be the same. It's just not possible the way the tax system is set up. So thank you for that. And then if you ever have any questions, we always, encourage you to come in. Okay, so you can go to the next slide now. Okay, so now we're going to explain the Save Our Homes. And this was initiated in 1992. It was a constitutional amendment, and it limits the annual increase in the assessed value of homesteaded property. The market value will increase or decrease according to the market. And once you have, the homestead exemption, if you look at your proposed tax notice at the bottom, it's going to have the market value. And people always think that they're taxed on that. No. If you go to the far right of your proposed tax notice, that's your taxable value. That is what you're actually taxed on, not the market value. The assessed value can increase by no more than 3% or the consumer price index each year, whichever is less. And that excludes, if you've made any changes, additions, or added anything, pools, remodeling, etc. And it was enacted to protect homeowners when there's sharp increases in values like there are, today in the last several years. We've seen that here in Florida. People are loving to come to Florida. So that homestead exemption is a very valuable tool to keep your property taxes lower. But when the property is sold, that new owner they're going to get that because our assessment date is January 1. Let's just say they buy the house in March. They're going to get the benefit of that seller's property exemptions for the rest of the year. So that November tax bill will reflect the seller's exemptions and capping or whatever.
That happened to me personally. I purchased a home here in Florida, and the timing of it.
Called me up and asked me.
Yep, I did. I was like, what happened? My taxes increased dramatically, but I don't have homestead exemption here. And
it can definitely be a big shock. Yeah.
But even with homestead, that first year, when all those exemptions come off, it's sticker shock. But once people apply for the homestead exemption, then they receive that capping.
Yeah.
And I'll throw something in real quick too. We're talking about homestead right now and the 3% or the CPI, which this year I think it's 2.9 if I'm not mistaken. But there's also with non-homestead properties. So you have the 10% capping as well. So your property can increase more than 10% every year. The same exclusions apply. Additions, shed, pool, remodel, etc., that kind of stuff. All that still applies. Where it's a little different is on the school board side. They do not have that 10% cap. So if the market increases significantly, you go to full market on the school board, but you're still capped at 10% on everything else. So there is, the county, city, and Northwest Florida Water Management. So there is some capping and savings that can be done on the non-homestead side as well too.
Okay, the next slide. And this kind of breaks down, how, is that the right slide? Yeah. Okay. So the first 25,000, you're exempt up to 50,000. The first 25 applies to all property taxes, county, city, and school and special districts, which will be for us the Northwest Florida Water Management. It covers the first 25 of the home's assessed value. So if your home is assessed at 100,000, the taxable value, and this says drops to 75 because that would be the school board's portion, because the schools, you don't get that second tier. So if it on the county and city, it would be 50,000. So the additional 25,000 applies to the value between 50 and 75,000, and it covers everything except school taxes. So a lot of people don't realize on that second tier, they don't get the school taxes reduction. So, that's something to think about when you're looking, at your value, and call us if you have any questions. We can explain it. I know this is a lot to digest.
Well, it's really good. I'm glad you guys wanted to come on. Obviously, everyone just received, some tax notices in the mail, and everyone's got questions. And, people like me that got a new tax bill that has, changes on it, might not understand exactly what happened. And so, I know a lot of people might be like, why are we talking about this right now? Because it's important that you guys understand how this applies to you, any savings that you can get, or I think we're going to go into in a moment, how to read these notices that you got in the mail so you understand that this is how it's laid out, and who's responsible for it.
Yeah. So, bottom line, you can save up to 50,000 of your home's value, but not all of it is applied to school taxes. So, and the exact savings is going to depend on your home's value and the millage rate, which is a tax rate. Okay. And now the recapture rule. This was created by the Florida legislature. It requires property appraisers to increase the assessed value of homesteaded property, even if the market value has not risen until it reaches current market value. So when you're capped, you're not at market value. So every year we have to raise the value up a little bit to kind of make up for that. They don't want it to just stay at a certain low level like that, and then that takes money out of the county and the city and the school. So that's the reason for that. The annual increases are limited to save our homes maximum 3% or CPI. So what was it this year? 2.9.
2.9, yeah.
So if you look at your assessed value, you're going to see a little bit of a hike in it, and it's going to be that 2.9%. If it's higher than that, I think this year we did have some market changes because the market is still, the sales have slowed down, but the values are still holding. And we have to be within a certain percentage of where the Department of Revenue says we should be, because they do all of their analysis and data. And we did have to do some market increases this year on the base rate. So they will see that on the trim notice. Okay, in the next slide, I want to talk about a little bit more about the difference in the market value and the sale price. So the property appraiser's market value is an estimate as of January 1 each year, and it's based on other similar properties and other market data. It's a mass appraisal, which means it's an average. It's not a custom appraisal like a private fee appraiser would do. Real world market value is what a buyer would actually pay today. Sales prices can be higher or lower depending on market conditions, unique features, or timing. Our market value, the property appraiser's market value, is the best estimate of the property's worth on January 1. And like I said, it's based on similar properties. It's used to calculate your property taxes, and it's determined using those mass appraisal methods, averaging sales, applying formulas, assuming typical condition. And it's just a snapshot in time. And another thing I want to mention is it's going to be based on the previous year, because our assessment date's January 1. So if sales start, skyrocketing in the real world market in January, February, and March, our data is not going to reflect that because we're looking at the previous year's sales. That's another thing that people don't always understand. So in reality, the assessed value may be lower because of constitutional caps like homestead exemption, not because we use a percentage of the market value. Okay, I think next slide. Okay, I think this is just kind of going over that same thing again. So we can leave it up a minute. Okay, there we go. Now the rollback rate. This is where we're going to talk about the trim notice. You don't have to put it up yet because there's 3 columns on your proposed tax notice, and that second column is going to be the rollback rate. And that rollback rate is the rate, think of it as a no tax increase rate. If property values go up, the rollback rate will go down so that the taxing authorities can collect the same total revenue from the prior year. If the proposed millage rate is set higher than the rollback rate, it's a tax increase. If the proposed rate is below that, there's no tax increase. So if you want to look at, you want to put up that graphic now of the, okay. So there at the top, it's going to have the BOCC, school board, Northwest Florida Water Management, and 3 columns. All the way over to the right is going to be their hearing dates where they vote to set their millage rate and approve their budget. And all those are open to the public. I think some of them have already passed, but yeah, they all have. Okay. But column 1 is going to be the prior year's tax rate, your 2024 taxes and the tax rate. Column 2 is going to be that rollback rate. This is the rate if there will be no budget increase or no tax rate increase if they adopt that middle column. But if you look over to the third column, that is the tax rate that they are proposing. And that's why they have to notice you and give you a chance to go to these public hearings and ask questions. So if you look at what your taxes are in column 3, your proposed taxes, and you look over in column 2 and you see that it's less, then that means that's a tax increase. And our office has absolutely nothing to do with that, but we do get a little bit of blame for it. Okay, the bottom.
You guys don't increase the taxes.
No. So the bottom portion is going to be your market value in the first column, assessed value in the second column, and that's going to be what is used to, your exemptions will go next from that assessed value. So if you look at the example, I don't know if they can see it up there, but the market value was $139,300 for 2025. It was $132,507 in 24. So it went up a little bit because of the CPI and because we did a little bit of a market increase this year. And we were required to do that by Department of Revenue to make our tax roll pass. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the next value, the assessed value for 25 was $99,480. For 24, it was $96,676. And then the exemption for 24 was $55,000. For 25, it was $55,722. And we forgot to explain that. So last year, the legislature gave a little bit of a relief, I guess you could call it, tax relief. They kind of made an adjustment to kind of offset that 2.9% CPI that we did over here. So they offset it over here to kind of make up for that. So you got $722 off. And then your taxable value is going to be minus those exemptions. And it came out to $43,758. 24, it was $41,676. So if you have any questions about understanding any of that, please give us a call. We would love to sit down and go over it with you and make sure that you understand it.
And just to throw in something else too, that bottom left column, the Save Our Homes column, says the all taxes, the value is $39,820. That's your difference between the 2025 market value and their 2025 assessed value. So that's what their Save Our Homes cap is protecting them from increasing by that much, basically. So
now, is there? Most people already have this because this was already mailed out to everyone.
Yes,
so
they should have.
We know it's hard to see on this graphic right here just because it's so small. But if you are watching this and you had questions, take yours that you have mailed to you and rewatch this later. This will be on our YouTube, on our Facebook. You can rewatch this later and then listen as they're telling you how to read it. And you can go through the one that you have at home. So it'll be a little bit easier for you to read.
And this under the school column, you'll see what we're talking about when you get over to the assessed value and the exemptions and then the taxable value. You'll see that the school is higher And it's always going to be higher because they don't get all the capping on the school portion.
All right. Are there any other of these slides that we need to?
I think there might be one more agricultural class. Oh, well, yes, this. Okay. So Clay, you can talk about this one, adding new construction.
I'm sorry, I can't hardly see that far away. I apologize.
Okay. It's just talking about your,
the new construction.
If you add any new construction to your property.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes. Yes. So anytime that someone adds something new to their property, so like say, for example, today you were to build a brand new house, you got the CO for it and all that, it would not go on this year's tax roll because it was not substantially complete on January 1st of 2025. So you will not see it on this one. You will see it on your 2026 bill. And that goes with sheds, pole barns, pools, anything like that. So in the sample there, it says a new home completed in March will not be on the November tax bill. So that's,
And once you have your home built and you just say a couple of years down the road, you've got your homestead and your capping and all that, but then you add a pole barn or you add, people forget about that and they'll come in, well, why did my taxes go up? And every time we look, we usually see they've added something, whether it be a pool or a pole barn or a shed or something to their property. So that's why. And I believe there was one more slide.
In the slide here.
Agricultural classification.
Is it not up there?
If I don't have it,
I'll just talk about it.
Yeah, go for it.
So agricultural classification is a property tax benefit for land that's used for a bona fide commercial agricultural operation, according to Florida Statute 193461. The deadline to file is March 1st, just like all the other exemptions. It is automatically renewed each year, but that does not equal permanent approval. The classification still depends on the land actually being used for a bona fide agricultural purpose each year. If the property appraiser requests information to verify the use and you don't comply, it can be removed. And the assessment is based on the use, not the full market value. It's not an exemption. It's based on the use of the property, and it is assessed by the soil type. Clay can, go into more of that because he looks at all those soil types and all the different, there's how many different timber classifications are there?
I think we have 5 or 6 different. We only use really 5 of them, but so we get a layer from the USDA office every 3 or 4 years, and it's basically the soil layer. And what we use the soil layers for is we look at what are you applying for. So like if you apply for timber or pasture or crop or whatever it may be, based off of what your use is and what the soil type says in that area, will determine the rate that we use. Whether it's timber 1, which is a higher price per acre rate, or timber 5, which is a lower price per rate. Same with pasture and crop. We use those same crop 1 through 5 and pasture 1 through 5. So the higher the lower the numbers of crop 1, it's going to be a higher rate per acre than crop 5. So
you guys can see why we're doing this, because this is very complex and there's a lot of moving parts, and of course it always deals with folks' money and their taxes, and so there's always lots of questions around it, and so we want to have this out there. So even if, like I said, you can rewatch this later, it'll be up here. If you need further explanation, you can always reach out to their office too. What are your office hours?
8 to 4 Monday through Friday, and we do not close for lunch. And it does not automatically classify property zoned agricultural. Zoning, or what the county planner does, is totally different than what we do. So I just wanted to make that distinction as well. And the ag classification does not automatically transfer to new owners. They have to come in and apply, in their name. If they don't do that, then we have to remove it. We try to remind people, to come in and do that. If, we are reviewing properties and we determine that, a property may not still qualify for ag that has received it in the past, we are required to send out a denial notice by July 1st. When those letters are sent out, they have 30 days from the date of that notice to file a petition with the VAB, or to come in, and we would hope that they would come in and try to, let us come out and visit the property to ensure that it's a bona fide commercial ag operation, or provide us whatever information that we need. So I just wanted to put those things out there so everybody understands what the process is. Because that deadline date to file for if you have a denial, and it's not just for ag, it's for any denial, homestead or whatever, you have 30 days from the date of that denial notice. Now, on your trim notice, there's a deadline to file a petition. That's different. That is for if you just have a, concern about you're contesting your value or some other, not a denial. So I wanted to make that clear, and that is about it for tonight. We could have this every week and cover a different topic.
Yeah. There's always some sort of educational factor that needs to go along with some of these offices because it is very difficult to navigate. But thank you so much for y'all coming on and explaining to the folks the best that you can. Guys, please reach out to the property appraiser's office if you have any questions about anything to do with your tax notices, or any questions about homestead exemption, any of those agricultural classifications, any exemptions to help save you guys some money, or just to learn a little bit more about how it works because it is very complex and it can get very confusing. So thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye. All right, y'all. So that was our property appraisers, property appraiser and deputy property appraiser. Now we're going to get into our civic group. So I've got quite a few people to introduce here. All right. So let's see. I'm going to bring on first. We have Mr. Benjamin Walden with the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Chad Phillips with the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce. We have Veda Heath with Historic Blountstown Main Street. We have Miss Gidget Adair Thomas with the American Legion Post 272 in Blountstown, with Mr. Chris Atkins with Saving Downtown Blountstown, and Mr. Bill Gaskin with Saving Downtown Blountstown. All right, do I have everybody here? I think so. Thank you guys for being here tonight. We appreciate you all joining us. Like I said earlier, guys, we have a full house, so we are going to get started. I'm going to go through and let everyone introduce themselves and tell their history of their organization and the position that they play in that. So we will start with the Chamber of Commerce.
Hey, everybody. My name is Benjamin Walden. I am the chair of Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce. And I have been in this position very short term. So we are excited to kind of get things going and work with everybody to bring the chamber into a bright new life. Chad is also helping in this perspective. So Chad, if you want to kind of introduce yourself as well.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Chad Phillips here. So really in the last week or two, joining in with the Chamber of Commerce to really bring it back. I think there's been a little bit of a drop in activities for the past short period of time. So we're really trying to focus on bringing it back and really engaging with the community here in Calhoun County.
Awesome. All right. We'll move on to Main Street.
Hey everyone, I'm Veda Heath. I'm the director for Historic Blountstown Main Street. Here recently we actually rebranded to Historic Blountstown Main Street. Previously we were Main Street Blountstown. We've been around for a few years. We mainly focus on the revitalization and being able to build the community sense in the downtown Blountstown area. And we're focusing more on the historical preservation and building the sense of the community pride and being able to help our community grow.
All right. And the American Legion.
Hi, my name is Gidget Thomas. I'm the second vice commander, events coordinator, and social media manager of the local American Legion Post 272. We oversee patriotic observations, entertainment, Americanism programs, community engagements, and member retention. And I've been in the position for about 4 months now, so this is all new. We're trying to rebrand the American Legion in the local community. So
Awesome. And now I think that leaves Saving Downtown Blountstown. Mr. Bill and Mr. Chris.
All right, I'm Bill Gaskin. I'm director of Saving Downtown Blountstown. And then Chris is also on our board. We were founded shortly after Hurricane Michael with the idea that we were going to save buildings downtown. The organization put together some funding or a loan and purchased the what we call the Commerce Building, which is at the corner of Highway 20 and Pear Street. And we're not desperately, we're rapidly working on getting a certificate of occupancy that's required to be given to the state, so the county won't have to pay back the money that the county got through a grant that put a new roof and put all the glass windows and doors that you can see if you're going through town. We're currently working on the inside. Chris is putting in a lot of work with us. And then I've got my crew that I'm paying to do work. And we're hoping to have the city inspector come look at in the next few days, with the idea that we could receive a certificate of occupancy that would satisfy the state Department of Commerce grant. We know that we're not close to having people moving in, but we have to have that CO by the end of September to satisfy that state grant.
And Mr. Chris, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, just working with Bill. Of course, the citizens of Calhoun County for decades have, being a very poor county, have torn down a lot of very old, historic, beautiful buildings. And we were very fortunate to keep that building from being bulldozed. It was, very, very close to being leveled out and having another empty lot in the downtown area. But give you a little history. The building was built in 1918, and it came flush with money from the turpentine industry, and with that money, they also had to have a bank. So I think Bill's ancestors were helpful in establishing the first bank in Blountstown. And shortly after that, they call it the Leonard Building, was built in 1918, and it had a couple of stores in there. And I wish Bill and I had a little more time. I could probably give you some graphics of the businesses that we're learning that were actually in the building. Not a lot of we can't find any county records from 1918. All we have is from 1923 and 24. The library has those, but we've been able to find who the businesses were that were in that building. And in 1934, the building burnt down, and they rebuilt it in 1 year later, 1935. And we know who the occupants were in the building, and then of course upstairs. I think the school board in 1960, 61, 62 was the last big group that was up there. But we encourage you guys to come by and visit. I'm the official. I've been designated the official tour organizer, and what really happens there is we keep Bill's folks working, and I get to play. So anybody that would like a tour, please come by. We'd love to show you the building. It's got fantastic potential. As Bill said, our focus right now is on the downstairs with additional funding that's going to have to be come hopefully from grants to fix the upstairs. And the upstairs is beautiful as well. It's got wainscoting and down the hallways and offices. Unfortunately, the plaster from the damage from the hurricane it has fallen off of the walls. It's still, when I went there, it was actually intact in the hallway. And then when we completely sealed it off from the roof and the windows, it started drying out. So, it went from a moist environment to a dry environment, and things started. The building is, it's constantly.
It's a very old building, so it's going to require quite a bit of tender loving care, and you guys are doing a good job with that.
It's breathing. It's really wow. It's a breathing building, and So anyway, I just come by and see. Now the thing that I guess Bill wanted to allow me to mention is.
Oh, hold on, we lost him.
All right. Well, the thing that I want to mention is that the Saving Downtown Bluntstown is having on the 27th out at the Civic Center. They're having another band gathering. It'll be Cliff Ellis from the Villagers, and he'll be backed up by a band out of Atlanta, since a number of the original Villagers are no longer able to perform. So we will be having a concert starting at 7:30 on Saturday the 27th. And if anybody would like to attend, you can reach out to Sharon Leonard, or I think we have the Facebook page up there. You can purchase tickets that way.
Ben, are we selling tickets at your place?
Yeah, I can take ticket purchases at the coffee shop as well.
So lots of opportunities there. And you said, what was the date of that again?
September the 27th. Starting
not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, while we're talking about events and things, before I'm going to jump back a little bit. So you guys kind of went through like your mission and what you're working on. I do want to talk to each organization. I know you guys introduced yourself, but about what the purpose is of your group and what you do in the community. And so I guess before I do that, most of you should know me on here because we're hosting this thing, but I'm Jamie with the Calhoun County Community Foundation. We were founded in 2019 following Hurricane Michael. And I'll jump in with what we do, what our mission is. So we have 4 mission pillars: conservation revitalization, community outreach, community crisis support, and most recently, community promotions and tourist development. So under our conservation and revitalization pillar, we do things like renovation projects. We advocate for our local natural spaces. We have been trying to advocate for bringing a state park to Calhoun County, doing some park renovations, trail systems, things of that nature. Under our community outreach pillar, we focus on things like our Black History Month banner program. We have free little libraries. We do the CalCo community chats. We host the Best of CalCo Awards. So lots of different things under community outreach. And then the community crisis support, or the community crisis fund, a lot of people may not be familiar with. So I just want to let everyone know that's watching what that is a fund that we set up following Hurricane Michael at the Calhoun Liberty Credit Union. And it is more or less an insurance fund for our citizens. So if anything were to, God forbid, ever happen again, like a community-wide crisis, such as a hurricane, flood, tornado, wildfire, that is a fund that we can draw on if need be to help support our citizens, our first responders. If they say, hey, we need to feed 500 people, we need to get some stuff in here, we need oxygen tanks, we need some masks, whatever the need may be. It is not for personal crises like a house fire or anything like that. It is solely for community-wide crisis, but that is a fund that can be donated into at any time. You can donate on our website or go into the Calhoun Liberty Credit Union. And then community promotions is the most recent thing. We have been tasked by the Calhoun County Board of County Commissioners to launch Visit Calhoun County. And so we're going to be talking about that more in the coming weeks, but we are in the process now of launching that sort of as a tourism promotion pillar, and we're going to be inviting folks to come to Calhoun County and visit us and spend their money here with us, shop in our businesses, and you do recreation and stuff on our rivers there. So we're really excited to be doing that as well. So that's a little bit about us, and then I'm going to move into the next thing, which is the mission of each group, which I just told you ours. So I'm going to go to the chamber real quick and let you guys talk about your mission. And Chad and Ben, you can kind of tell me if I need to change the slide here, okay? Just let me know, but I'll let you guys take it away.
Yeah, no, thank you. So the primary mission of the Chamber of Commerce is really for economic development and growth of business within Calhoun County. So it's a population of different businesses, nonprofits, churches, small, large, and really the overall objective is to create programs, create networking opportunities to build support within the community, but also from an economic development standpoint is attract new businesses and reasons for others to come and open businesses within Calhoun County. The ability to have businesses in town for locals to own their own business is great. Tax revenue goes to our county, so keeping it local, keeping it within Calhoun County, whether it be going to a coffee shop, going to a restaurant, going to shop at clothing boutiques. There's so many ways that we can expand our footprint that we already have and really grow the area.
Awesome. All right. And let's jump to Main Street. Tell me what your mission is. Like, what do you do in the community? Whoop, Beta, my bad. Got you back.
You're fine, darling. So our mission is, it actually breaks down to 6 words very simply. It's preserving the past, nourishing the present to watch the future flourish. And basically at the root of it, it's being able to honor and respect our history, our culture, and everything that made Calhoun County get on the map to begin with, while still being able to nurture all of the current demographics and everything else we have as a current society, because from then to now, so many things have changed, and being able to adapt and help everything, still honor our culture of where we came from, but still be able to start laying out the plans and groundwork and everything else to be able to see 5 years, 20 years down the line for a prospering area.
And there is a Main Street district, right? Like, a lot of people may not realize that, but it's typically like the downtown quarter there. Like, can you explain to people what is the Main Street district?
Yes, so the Main Street district, it hits, it's that strip of stores right there on Highway 20 Central Avenue, and it'll go down towards the train depot at Pear Street, and I want to say, if I remember right, it cuts off like right before Merle Norman, that hair salon, somewhere in that little grouping, but it'll go all the way over to Main Street to where Golden's Pharmacy used to be. It's currently Pan Care. It's just that downtown block quarter where you've got Main Street and 20 and everything. That is our designated little district that we mainly focus on.
Okay. And Ms. Gidget, I'm going to jump to you and tell us a little bit about the role of the American Legion and their purpose.
Okay. All right. Well, the Legion's mission is to serve veterans, their families, and their communities through advocacy, service, and programs that uphold American values and strengthens national security. The core purpose is actually in our preamble, and that's to uphold the U.S. Constitution, maintain law and order, foster Americanism, preserve wartime memories, and instill a sense of community obligation and promote peace and freedom. Is our mission.
Awesome. Now we're going to go into current projects. So I know I'm not ignoring Saving Downtown Blountstown, but I know you guys kind of told us your current project, which is the Commerce Building. So you guys are working on that. We're going to kind of keep moving through here. So our current projects that we're working on, I mentioned earlier, we just finished up our Chipola River Wayside Park, and currently we're just focusing on Visit Calhoun County. So we've got a lot to launch there. We're going to be launching new website, new socials, all these things in the coming weeks. So you guys, please stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout. We'll be working with Main Street and the Chamber very closely on some of these tourism initiatives and some fun projects, exciting events, and things to come. So we're really excited about that. It's a big task that we've been asked to complete, but we are on board with it, and we're so excited to move forward. So Visit Calhoun County is our biggest thing, but also the closer it gets to February, I know you guys are going to hear me talk constantly about Florida River Fest. That's our big event. We're already working on it. It's coming up in February, and we've got new additions this year. One of which is the Friday night catfish cook-off. So that's our current projects that we're working on, is just head down and focus on event planning. So does the Chamber have any current events or anything you'd like to share?
We've got a couple of new things coming up. The dates have not been confirmed. We're going to start doing stuff, I believe, mid-October is what we're looking at. We are going to, of course, be working with Jamie and the foundation with the Visit Florida stuff and helping them out a little bit. But we've got a couple events here that we're going to be promoting this fall. Chad, if you want to kind of go over some of those.
Yeah, so these are really going to be the programs that we're going to start pushing. The Two in Blue, the Monday Morning Mingle, that's going to be a monthly program for both chamber members and non-members to come network. We're going to have a variety of different topics. So having speakers come in talking about marketing, social media, customer service, business continuity, all types of things to help your business grow. And then we're also going to be implementing Chamber Off the Clock. That'll be usually probably once a quarter, maybe more if it's more successful, but that'll be an evening event. Little bit different of a vibe, different focus, and more focus on growth and change within Calhoun County. Some of the more shop local initiatives are, we're going to continue obviously with the business bounce. We're looking at working through a small business week initiative with, as opposed to just a one-day kind of business bounce sale, also having a full small business week that looks at more than just retail businesses. And then we're also looking at implementing a Chamber Bucks program, which is more of a local gift card. So instead of having to go buy gift cards to different businesses, being able to buy one that supports the county, someone can go to multiple different businesses to use. Obviously, in the spring, we have the Florida Wildflower Festival. We're making a good amount of changes to that for this coming year and really kind of bringing it back. And then our biggest events that are going to happen probably in mid-November is truly a relaunch party for the fall. We really want to rebrand, relaunch, revitalize, and bring energy back into the Chamber of Commerce. So we haven't set a firm date yet, but really looking just once we get that solidified and our space booked for that event, just helping promote it throughout the different businesses, having really anyone in Calhoun County come, because we really want to relaunch, revitalize the chamber and make it somewhere where people know the value and purpose of it, which also kind of leads to 2026 renewals and membership drive. We're going to have a big push for if you haven't renewed your membership yet, or if you've let your membership expire, or you haven't been a member yet and you want to join, we're going to have new membership levels in there for different levels of marketing. We're bringing back the Friend of the Chamber program. So even if you're not a business owner and want to make a small donation and join at a lower level price point, you can join as an individual. You don't have to be a business to join the Chamber of Commerce, but still receive the monthly newsletters, everything like that that's going to be coming out soon.
Awesome.
Excited. It's all coming back.
That's going to be really good. And guys, the Chamber of Commerce is so important to a community. For those that just may not know the differences, like we've already said, they are really that pillar that uplifts the small businesses, or not even just small businesses, but all businesses in the county. And so it's very important that they're super active and involved and engaged. And you guys have such a great energy that's coming forth. And I know it's going to be awesome to see this reignition of, everyone working together and supporting these small businesses, bringing in businesses. There's just a lot of exciting things on the horizon. So I think it's going to be really great. Thank you guys for taking that on. I'm going to keep going here. I think I have some more slides of the American Legion. Let's see. We got a couple things coming up here. I'll let you take that away, Ms. Gidget.
All right. Our current projects include the monthly Coffee with a Vet. It's where you come to Sweet Magnolia Bakery, and there's vets that show up. It's hosted by the Career Resource Center. Veteran Service Officer Eric Daniels comes, the American Legion, and Calhoun County Property Appraiser Carla Trickey. Peacock vet was just here. What they do is when Eric comes from the Veteran Service Office, he can help you get set up. If you have a disability, he can help you file for disability. The Veteran Service Offices, it does headstones and stuff like that for funerals that they can get set up. So he's there to help do that. It's sponsored by the Farm Bureau. And we just come and we gather and just have fellowship there together. This lady here, Anita Horner, made and donated this quilt to us. It's got the military patches. If you see, each one is military patches. Chris, on the right-hand side of the screen, is from the Resource Center. And Miss Horner that donated that comes to the Coffee with the Vet. And we're raffling that quilt. We're going to start, we started doing it. If we see people that are wanting it, the raffle is $5 a ticket. And we will be at the upcoming event at Pine Holler in Clarksville on the 20th. And at Goat Day, we'll be selling those raffle tickets as well. And at the end of Goat Day, that will go, we'll pull a recipient who won the raffle on that particular one.
Awesome.
This is our upcoming event in November. This is our first annual Veterans Villa. This, with the help of Veda. She's helping us get this together. It's our first event that we've ever held in honor of Veterans Day. It's going to be the Saturday after Veterans Day on Pear Street at the train station, and we're getting veteran vendors, veteran businesses to come and set up, and we want to honor them and make those businesses aware. Of course, we have civilian vendors as well, but we want to get started having a veterans service.
Awesome. All right. Now, let's see. Miss Veda, do you guys have any upcoming events? Tell us about which one you want me to share first.
The
yard sale?
Yeah, the yard sale I think would probably be the most recent one. So we do 2 community yard sales a year, usually one in March or either April. I know it's springtime. And then the other one we do in October. They usually try and coincide around amnesty months and everything else. Mm-hmm. The QR code on there is the little link to where you can go sign up, come put your stuff out. We're going to have a crazy coffee lady out there serving coffee, so you can get your caffeine fix while you're out perusing, trying to find your next treasure. We will also have a snow cone vendor that has not been added to that flyer yet out there as well. For a project,
grass lot next to Centennial, right?
Yes, it will be that grassy lot next to Centennial, right across the street from Sweet Magnolia Bakery. And that will be October 11th from 7 to 11 in the morning. Okay. We have our annual Christmas on the Square on December 6th from 8 to 1 p.m. We're going to do it on Magnolia Square and down the train depot. So we've got a lot of ground to be able to cover and fill and be able to welcome everyone to the community. That afternoon, we have our Christmas parade. It is our Big Toy Magic on Main Street is the theme for this year. Kickoff is going to be at 6 p.m. Just come join in the line. If you want to be judged, come on out. Judging is going to start about 5:30. Just make sure that your float and everything else is good to go by then. And we're going to kick off at 6. For a couple of the smaller projects that we're working on, we're actually trying to put together some of the free pantry boxes that we're going to put some non-perishable items in there for if we get someone walking down the trails or just walking through town and they need a quick pick-me-up, they'll be able to grab it from those. We're also doing a community calendar. So any of our businesses or anywhere like that would like one of them, they can get in touch with me and I'll get the display set up already and we'll come alternate out the calendars for you and just help keep everybody up to date.
And also on that note, real quick, when you mentioned the community calendar too, once it's launched, the Visit Calhoun County, Florida website will also have an events calendar on the main page, and folks can add their events to it. So if you guys, need to advertise an event too, you can never advertise too much for an event. So once you've placed it on the community calendar with Main Street, you can also go over to that Visit Calhoun County website, which again we'll be announcing soon, and you can add your events and graphics and things to our calendar there. And that website will really it can be utilized by locals, but we are going to be pushing that out heavily to folks outside of the county to come in and visit. So to get the local eyes and stuff on you, definitely share with Main Street here. And then of course, if you want to get outside eyes specifically, be sure to add it to that other calendar as well.
Yes, and with partnering with Visit Florida, like you mentioned earlier, all of these will also go into Visit Florida's directory and calendars, and they go out globally for different programs, promotions, and everything else. So we're really working towards being able to push them.
And then I want to jump back to Saving Downtown Blountstown. If you guys want to talk real quick, you mentioned the villagers earlier. I found this graphic real quick, so I wanted to put it up here. If you guys want to just give a little bit more information about this and how this came to be, and how I believe some of these folks had ties to Calhoun County.
Well, Robert Trammell knew a lot of these original guys from back in the Chipola days. So all of these original villagers were students at Chipola. Cliff Ellis, who is the lead singer and will be here on the 27th, is a very sort of prominent basketball coach. He coached at Auburn. He coached at Clemson. I forget all the schools he's coached at, but he was a basketball coach. They had members from, I think, Grand Ridge, from Sneed's, from over around Graceville or Chipley. So they were local boys that toured during the mid to late 60s in the area. They used to play out at the American Legion Hall here in Blountstown. That's across from where J&N or the Tequila Mexican restaurant is now. So they toured back in the 60s and sort of kept together over the years. And they're in their mid to late 80s now. But they will be here for at least one more time, which will be Saturday the 27th.
And they do have some younger members now that have joined them. Some of the older ones have either passed away or can't play like they used to. So we've got some younger members. The keyboard, wasn't it, Bill? The keyboard player, that was Andy Murray that just recently passed away.
Yeah, there's a group. They've got a band that's going to back them, and the band is out of Atlanta, and we've seen some of their performances on like YouTube. So they'll be working with them to back them for this performance.
Yeah, I think it's a keyboard player. They said is really, really good.
Yeah, and they started this this will be the fourth one we've had. So 4 years ago, it was the brainchild of Robert Trammell. And then he pulled Sharon into it, and I got pulled into it, and we had our first and second concert, back to back for 2 years out at the old J&N. And then last year we moved to the Civic Center. It's just easier there. It's easier to control the temperature inside than it is out at J&N. So this will be our fourth year of having this, and the idea is that the funds we raise go toward the Commerce Building.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to move on, guys. I lost the stream for a second. Do you guys all have me on here still?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. How can people help and support all these causes, all these events? We're going to go one at a time. Of course, most of it's going to be a little overlapping because I would like to speak for all of us when I say some of these things are pretty basic in how you guys can help us out. So share our content on social media. If we make a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok post, all the things, simply by liking, engaging, commenting, sharing, you can help all these organizations greatly by doing something that costs $0. Just engaging online, helping that algorithm push this information out to the masses. So that's the number one thing I'd like to say for everyone. If they post something, be sure to engage with that and help out there. Attend the events, right? Purchase tickets, show up as a volunteer. Take your family out to all these events. There's so many great things. You know, when I hear folks say, well, we don't have much to do around here, there are plenty of events in Calhoun County every single month, nearly every weekend, there's something to do. So whether it's the chamber hosting business-oriented events or the Wildflower Fest or Saving Downtown Bluntstown, having the Bluntstown Rocks concert, the Coffee with a Vet, the yard sales with Main Street. Like there's so many opportunities for people to get involved and just attend and take their family out for a fun day. So sharing stuff online, attending the events, and then of course getting involved, right? Like hands-on, join the teams. Everybody can always use extra hands and volunteers. So I would say, again, just kind of for everyone, please, you know, reach out. If you have an interest in joining the chamber or helping out with some of their events, reach out to these folks. Let them know. If you want to get involved with the Commerce Building and have extra hands on board to help them clean and work and get everything ready. They are on a tight schedule right now trying to get that done. I'm sure they could use some extra hands. And the same thing with Main Street and the American Legion and all of the groups. You know, the foundation's always needing hands for things. Riverfest is coming up, so we're going to need those volunteers. So sharing, engaging online, attending with your family, and of course, just getting your hands dirty and getting involved are things that I know cover for everyone. But is there anything specific that you guys are looking for right now that, you know, Benjamin, is there anything that somebody might can help you guys with in the next few months as you guys are kind of rebuilding?
I think right now, you know, it's all going to be kind of going back to what you said as far as we have kind of the past, we've got to have engagement. I think, you know, that's one of our biggest things right now with this relaunch of the chamber is please, please, please share everything that you see that we're doing and just participate if you can in any way. That would be a gracious amount of help. And reach out if you're interested in, you know, assisting in any way. I would love to hear ideas of anything that anybody wants to bring to the table. I'd be happy to hear them and present them to the board, and, you know, we can go from there. But I think social media sharing and attending our events. We've got a lot of things planned and we are very excited to get going. So.
Awesome. And for the American Legion, is there anything that you guys need specific help with right now?
No, our main thing is donate, volunteer, and join.
Yep. Those are the things. And Veda, back to you. Anything for Main Street that you guys need specific help with coming up soon?
Pretty much the same thing everyone's mentioned. We're always looking for more volunteers or new board members. Just come out, engage, like you've said. Just come give us a hand. Come tell us where we need to modify something. We don't know unless you come tell us.
And Saving Downtown Bluntstown, anything specific that you guys need right now? Obviously, people to buy tickets for your event coming up, but any specific hands on deck that you need with the Commerce Building?
I think once we get the CO, then after that, there's still going to be a lot of painting inside and stuff that needs to be done. So once we get the CO, maybe in October, we'll try to get some additional volunteers to come in and work. Right now, I'm paying for the crew and paying for all the materials inside the building out of my own private, you know, checking account, because it's not covered by the grant. But we have to get this CO, so the county doesn't have to pay out $800,000 or whatever it is, or $500,000. But yeah, we can use volunteers, but I want to get the CO out of the way first, and then we'll see about reaching out for some volunteers to have a paint party or something, you know.
And you guys can follow along on their Facebook page and on Mr. Bill's personal Facebook page as well. If you're friends with him on there, they've been sharing updates daily almost about the building. So reach out, engage with all of us. That is usually the biggest need. It doesn't cost anything, and it takes 2 seconds. If you see a post, like, share, comment, all the things, and just help us push that out. So I'm going to say, while we're closing this up here, if there's anybody watching that has any questions about anything, please put those in the chat now so that I can ask these folks while they're here. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. I appreciate you all taking time out of your busy schedules to chat with us and let the folks know, what is happening in Calhoun County. What are these civic groups and what they mean to the community? And a lot of times, people see the front end of things that happen or things that get done, but they don't know who's behind the scenes working on them. And so these are your folks right here. These are your organizations that put a lot of time and effort and energy into the community. And so I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's see. Valerie says, thank y'all so much. Thanks for watching, Valerie. Thank you guys for being here that are watching. We appreciate it. And if you're watching this after the fact, because this is going to be saved on our YouTube and our Facebook channel, so you guys can comment below, and any questions that you guys have, folks will see it and be able to respond to it later. Our next Calhoun County community chat, or CalCo community chat rather, is going to be on October the 6th. And it's going to be another fun one. It's going to be all things fall. So we're going to talk about all the fun fall activities that are coming up in Calhoun County. And again, I cannot reiterate enough, there is no shortage of activities in the county. So we're going to be talking with Pine Holler about their pumpkin patch, which is a new business in Calhoun County. We're going to talk to the Rotary Club about Goat Day, which is coming up on October 18th. They're celebrating 40 years this year for Goat Day. And another one that's got a huge milestone this year is the Kinard Carnival. So the Kinard Halloween Carnival is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, and lots of fun things going on in the fall. The Pioneer Settlement always has lots of fall activities with their the Pioneer Day and the Peanut Bowls and all the different things that go on out there. So we're going to be covering all that on October the 6th. So we appreciate you guys to tune in for that. And again, thank y'all so much for being here, guys. We will see y'all on the next one, and I'll see y'all in the community. Thank y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Jamie.